Hello, I'm Essay, your AI essayist. Please note that all content, audio and video in this presentation are AI generated. As AI can sometimes produce inaccuracies, I encourage you to verify any factual information presented. With that in mind, let's begin.
Lahore Central Jail's cold stone held Faiz Ahmed Faiz following accusations of involvement in the Rawalpindi Conspiracy Case, an alleged plot to overthrow the Pakistani government. Faiz's voice appeared suppressed by the authorities his words had challenged. However, his spirit remained strong, his dedication to social justice firm. During his imprisonment, when writing materials were limited, he composed poems mentally, sharing them with fellow inmates who acted as living manuscripts, safeguarding his verses for a world in need. One poem, shared within the prison, described dawn's arrival, even after the darkest night, reflecting his belief in hope and resistance. This experience left a lasting impression on his work, enriching it with urgency and moral clarity. Faiz Ahmed Faiz, a name linked to revolutionary poetry and social conscience, is a significant figure in Urdu literature. He confronted the realities of his time, a committed intellectual who believed in the power of words to inspire change, and a revolutionary who dedicated his life to the cause of the oppressed. He lived through key moments in South Asian history, experiencing the trauma of partition, the changes in democracies, and the ongoing struggles against authoritarianism and inequality. These experiences shaped his worldview and fueled his poetry. This essay explores the life and work of Faiz Ahmed Faiz, examining his poetic contributions, his socio-political activism, and his lasting legacy as a voice for the marginalized. It will examine how Faiz blended poetic forms with themes of social justice, creating a voice that resonated with many. It will also highlight the challenges he faced, the sacrifices he made, and the principles that guided him. Faiz's poetry arose from a landscape affected by political repression and social inequality. Pakistan, dealing with its identity, faced corruption, authoritarianism, and a gap between the rich and the poor. Voices of dissent were often silenced, and those who dared to challenge the status quo faced persecution. This environment stifled creativity and threatened to extinguish the flame of social progress. In a society where power resided in the hands of a privileged few, and where the voices of the common people were often ignored, Faiz offered a unique solution. He harnessed the emotive power of poetry, crafting verses that spoke directly to the hearts and minds of the masses. His language was accessible, his imagery vivid, and his message clear that justice, equality, and freedom were abstract ideals, but fundamental rights worth fighting for. He transformed the ghazal, a traditional Urdu poetic form often associated with romantic love, into a vehicle for social and political commentary, imbuing it with revolutionary fervor. A central problem Faiz addressed was the pervasive sense of disillusionment and despair that gripped many in the wake of partition. The dream of a new nation, free from colonial rule and full of promise, had quickly turned into a nightmare for many as they faced displacement, violence, and economic hardship. Faiz's poetry offered solace and hope in these dark times, reminding people of their shared humanity and their collective power to shape a better future. He wrote of resilience, resistance, and the enduring strength of the human spirit, inspiring people to persevere in the face of adversity. Faiz confronted the abuse of power by those in authority. He fearlessly criticized corruption, authoritarianism, and the suppression of dissent, using his poetry as a weapon against injustice. His verses exposed the hypocrisy of those who claimed to represent the people while enriching themselves at their expense. He challenged the narrative of the ruling elite, offering an alternative vision of a society based on fairness, equality, and democratic values. Faiz's solution involved a deep understanding of the power of language and its ability to shape public opinion. He conveyed his message using metaphors, allegories, and symbolism in a manner that resonated with a broad audience, simultaneously evading censorship. His poetry was beautiful and subversive, stirring emotions and inspiring action. He understood poetry could be a powerful tool for resistance, challenging the status quo and mobilizing people to fight for their rights. The beauty of Faiz's poetry resides in its ability to blend intellectual depth with emotional accessibility. He embraced complex ideas, expressing them in language easily understood by ordinary people. He drew inspiration from classical Urdu poetry and modern socialist thought, creating a unique synthesis that was intellectually stimulating and emotionally resonant. This ability to connect the intellectual elite and the common people was a key to his success as a revolutionary poet. Furthermore, Faiz's commitment extended to active participation in social and political movements, working to promote literacy, education, and workers' rights. He believed poetry should be accompanied by action, and intellectuals had a responsibility to use their voices to advocate for social change. His activism often placed him at odds with the authorities, leading to imprisonment and exile, yet he remained committed to his principles. Faiz's legacy extends far beyond the borders of Pakistan. His poetry has been translated into numerous languages and is read and admired globally. He is recognized as a universal voice for the oppressed, a champion of human rights, and a symbol of resistance against tyranny. His verses continue to inspire activists, artists, and intellectuals working to create a more equitable world. Faiz addressed political repression, social inequality, and the abuse of power in his poetry, themes that persist in many regions globally. His approach, employing accessible and emotionally resonant language to critique power and inspire resistance, remains a potent instrument for social change. His work underscores poetry's potential as a force for good, capable of challenging injustice, promoting understanding, and inspiring hope. Faiz's verses stand as a testament to the enduring power of words to shape our world. His unwavering commitment to social justice and his masterful use of poetry as a tool for resistance continue to inspire generations. Faiz Ahmed Faiz's enduring legacy as a poet of resistance and hope is rooted in pre-partition India. His formative years, steeped in intellectual ferment and burgeoning political consciousness, shaped the artist who would later give voice to the voiceless. Understanding the socio-political landscape of his youth, along with the profound influence of his education and mentors, is essential to grasping the genesis of his revolutionary verse. Faiz was born in 1911 in Sialkot, Punjab, a region then part of British India. This era featured the pervasive effects of colonial rule, a system that engendered both economic exploitation and deep social divisions. The Indian subcontinent was experiencing a surge of nationalist sentiment, fueled by a desire for self-determination and an end to foreign domination. This yearning for freedom permeated all aspects of society, including literature and the arts. The rigid social hierarchy, exacerbated by colonial policies, created stark inequalities, with a small elite benefiting from the system, while the vast majority of the population struggled with poverty and lack of opportunity. These realities of colonial India, the privilege and deprivation, injustice and apathy, profoundly impacted Faiz's worldview and found expression in his poetry. His education at Government College, Lahore, proved a pivotal period in his intellectual development. This institution, celebrated for academic excellence, furnished Faiz with a stimulating environment. He encountered a wide array of ideas and perspectives. He immersed himself in literature, philosophy, and history, developing a critical understanding of the world. During this period, he encountered Marxist ideology, a philosophy offering a compelling analysis of social inequality and a vision for a more egalitarian society. Marxism's emphasis on economic justice and the struggle against oppression resonated deeply with Faiz's experiences and observations. He found a framework for understanding the systemic causes of poverty and exploitation, along with a call to action to challenge these injustices. Progressive literary movements gaining momentum in India also played a crucial role in shaping Faiz's artistic vision. These movements sought to depart from traditional literary conventions and address pressing social and political issues. Writers associated with these movements believed literature should be a tool for social change, a means of raising awareness about injustice and inspiring people to strive for a better world. Faiz was drawn to this ethos, finding validation of his belief that poetry could be a powerful force for good. The Progressive Writers Association, in particular, provided a platform for writers to share their work, exchange ideas, and collaborate on projects promoting social justice. This association became an important intellectual home for Faiz, providing a supportive community of like-minded individuals. Among the influential figures shaping Faiz's intellectual and artistic development were his teachers and mentors. Professor A.S. Bhakrari, a renowned scholar of English literature, instilled in Faiz a deep appreciation for the power of language and the importance of critical thinking. Bhakrari's emphasis on clarity, precision, and intellectual rigor helped Faiz hone his writing skills and develop a sophisticated understanding of literary techniques. Sufi Ghulam Mustafa Tabashum, a celebrated Urdu poet, introduced Faiz to the rich traditions of Urdu poetry, including its intricate forms, evocative imagery, and profound philosophical insights. Tabasham's guidance aided Faiz in mastering the art of Urdu poetry, enabling him to articulate his thoughts and feelings with elegance and fluency. These mentors imparted knowledge and skills, and they furnished Faiz with invaluable direction and encouragement as he traversed the intricacies of the literary sphere. This spurred him to investigate his individual voice and to employ his poetry to tackle the subjects that held paramount importance for him. Their impact is evident in Faiz's aptitude to smoothly integrate conventional Urdu poetic structures with contemporary socialist concepts, fashioning a distinctive and potent style that connected with audiences throughout the subcontinent. The challenges of colonial governance and societal stratification constituted pivotal motifs in Faiz's initial poetic works. He composed pieces concerning the predicament of the impoverished, the subjugation of the marginalized, and the pursuit of liberty and fairness. His verses encapsulated the anguish and distress of those who were refused their fundamental human entitlements, while concurrently extending a communication of optimism and fortitude. He utilized his poetry to unveil the duplicity and inequity of the colonial framework, and to motivate individuals to oppose oppression and strive for an improved tomorrow. Faiz synthesized traditional Urdu poetic forms with modern socialist ideas. He capitalized on the abundant legacy of Urdu poetry, encompassing its ghazals, nazms, and rubais, while also assimilating themes and concepts from Marxist ideology. This amalgamation of tradition and modernity empowered him to generate poetry that was profoundly anchored in its cultural milieu and pertinent to the present-day world. He employed approachable and emotionally evocative language to communicate his message, rendering his poetry accessible to a broad readership. His verses abounded with vibrant imagery, compelling metaphors, and a profound sense of compassion for the affliction of others. Through his poetry, Faiz could articulate the sentiments of the unheard, to contest injustice, and to instill hope in a realm that frequently appeared desolate. His dedication to social equity and his skillful application of poetry as an instrument for resistance established the groundwork for his subsequent endeavors, cementing his status as one of the foremost poets of the 20th century. Faiz Ahmed Faiz's artistic trajectory was significantly shaped by his engagement with the progressive writers movement, a literary and socio-political force that swept across the Indian subcontinent in the 1930s and 40s. This movement, deeply influenced by socialist and Marxist ideologies, sought to use literature as a tool for social change, advocating for the rights of the working class and challenging the existing socio-economic order. The progressive writers movement provided Faiz with a platform to express his own growing disillusionment with the inequalities and injustices prevalent in society, and it helped him to refine his poetic voice and ideological stance. The movement's emphasis on realism, social responsibility, and the depiction of everyday life resonated deeply with Faiz's own sensibilities. He found himself drawn to the idea that poetry could be a powerful instrument for raising awareness, mobilizing public opinion, and inspiring action. He embraced the movement's call for writers to engage with the real world, to confront its problems head-on, and to use their art to promote a more equitable and humane society. Faiz's early collections, such as Images of Complaint and The Hand of the Breeze, bear the unmistakable imprint of his involvement with the progressive writers movement. These poems reflect his growing concern for the plight of the poor, the oppressed, and the marginalized. They speak of love, revolution, and social justice, themes that would continue to dominate his work throughout his career. Images of Complaint, published in 1941, marked his formal entry into the world of published poets and immediately established him as a voice of conscience and resistance. The poems within this collection are imbued with a sense of urgency and a deep empathy for the suffering of humanity. He explored themes of love and loss, and these personal experiences were intertwined with broader social and political concerns. The Hand of the Breeze, published over a decade later, further solidified his reputation as a revolutionary poet. This collection showcased a more mature and confident voice, one that was unafraid to challenge the status quo and to speak truth to power. The poems in The Hand of the Breeze are characterized by their powerful imagery, their evocative language, and their unwavering commitment to social justice. He skillfully blended traditional Urdu poetic forms with modern themes and ideas, creating a unique and distinctive style. Writers associated with the progressive writers movement encountered significant challenges, including artistic censorship and the suppression of dissenting voices. In pre-partition India, later in Pakistan, the colonial and post-colonial governments were frequently intolerant of criticism and dissent, employing various means to silence those who challenged their authority. Writers and artists who dared to speak out against injustice risked imprisonment, harassment, and even death. Faiz, like many of his contemporaries, was acutely aware of these risks, finding ways to navigate the treacherous waters of censorship and political repression. He employed subtle metaphors and allegories to convey his message while circumventing the censors. He mastered the art of using symbolism and imagery to express his ideas in a way that was both powerful and ambiguous. His poems often operated on multiple levels, conveying a surface meaning acceptable to the authorities while also hinting at a deeper, more subversive message. This allowed him to reach a wider audience and inspire resistance without directly provoking the wrath of the state. Consider, for example, his use of the beloved in his poetry. In traditional Urdu poetry, the beloved is often depicted as a symbol of beauty, love, and longing. Faiz transformed the beloved into a symbol of freedom, justice, and a revolutionary ideal. When he wrote of his love for the beloved, he was also writing of his love for his country, his love for the oppressed, and his love for a better world. His poem Bal Speak serves as a powerful example of his use of symbolism and allegory to challenge oppression. The poem is a call to action, urging people to speak out against injustice, even in the face of repression. The poem's straightforward language and forthright tone ensure accessibility for many readers, while its core message of defiance connects profoundly with individuals striving for liberty and fairness. His earlier works display a remarkable use of symbolism and imagery. He utilized a diverse collection of images and symbols derived from both established Urdu poetry and contemporary political dialogue. He incorporated natural images, including the dawn, the breeze, and the stars, to symbolize optimism, rebirth, and the potential for transformation. He also utilized symbols of defiance, such as the closed fist, the crimson banner, and the prison chamber, to communicate his dedication to social equity and his support for the downtrodden. His talent for imbuing conventional symbols with fresh interpretations and for developing novel symbols that connected with his audience's experiences contributed significantly to his achievements as a poet of defiance. He could communicate with the emotions and thoughts of everyday citizens, motivating them to faith in the prospect of change and encouraging them to act to build a superior world. The themes of affection and defiance against oppression present throughout Faiz's earlier works maintain considerable contemporary significance. In a world still troubled by disparity, inequity, and political tyranny, his poems continue to connect with those advocating for a fairer and more compassionate society. His verses provide comfort, inspiration, and a reminder that even during the most challenging periods, optimism endures. The issues he explored in his poetry, including poverty, disparity, political persecution, and the rejection of fundamental human rights, are issues that continue to challenge us presently. His distinctive approach, employing poetry as a tool of defiance, expressing truth to authority, and fostering optimism when facing despair, remains consistently pertinent. His poems serve as a reminder that we all share a duty to voice opposition to inequity and to strive toward a world where everyone receives treatment with dignity and respect. Faiz's early works illustrate the capacity of art to challenge oppression and to stimulate social progress. His involvement with the progressive writers movement aided him in cultivating his poetic expression and refining his ideological perspective. He employed subtle metaphors and allegories, enabling him to bypass censorship and connect with a broader audience. His poems continue to resonate globally, underscoring the lasting significance of love, resistance, and the pursuit of social justice. Through his initial poetic efforts, Faiz established a foundation for a life devoted to employing his art as an instrument for constructive transformation, a dedication that would face trials and gain strength in subsequent years. The origins of resistance, planted in Faiz Ahmed Faiz's initial poetry and cultivated within the intellectual climate of the progressive writers movement, flourished in the turbulent political environment of Pakistan's early existence. His dedication to social justice, his steadfast conviction in art's capacity to challenge oppression, and his increasing prominence as a voice for the marginalized soon led to direct conflict with the state. This conflict became most apparent in his involvement with the Rawalpindi Conspiracy Case and the ensuing years of imprisonment that profoundly influenced his poetic perspective. Pakistan, during the early 1950s, was a nation struggling with its identity, its democratic principles increasingly challenged by political instability and the increasing power of the military. The assassination of Prime Minister Liaquat Ali Khan in 1951 had immersed the country in a period of uncertainty, intensifying existing conflicts between various factions competing for power. Within this power vacuum, a group of military officers, reportedly led by Major General Akbar Khan, devised a scheme to depose the government of Prime Minister Kharwaja Nazimuddin. This scheme, subsequently known as the Rawalpindi Conspiracy Case, provided the authorities with a reason to suppress dissent and silence voices critical of the government. Faiz, already a prominent figure because of his poetry and his connection to progressive causes, became caught in the government's crackdown. Accusations connected him to the alleged conspiracy, implying his participation in the planning or ideological support for the coup attempt. The specific details of his involvement remain a topic of discussion among historians and literary scholars. Some contend that his progressive beliefs and his close relationships with individuals involved in the conspiracy rendered him a target of suspicion. Others propose that the government intentionally implicated him to undermine the progressive movement and silence a potent voice of opposition. The consequences for Faiz were profound. In March 1951, Faiz Ahmed Faiz was arrested and imprisoned. The charges against him were serious, carrying the potential for severe punishment. The arrest sent shockwaves through Pakistan's literary and intellectual circles, sparking protests and expressions of solidarity from writers, artists, and activists. Many viewed his imprisonment as an attack on freedom of expression and a sign of the government's growing intolerance of dissent. The experience of imprisonment proved to be a crucible for Faiz, testing his resolve and deepening his commitment to social justice. Confined within the walls of various prisons, he witnessed firsthand the suffering and injustice that he had so often written about in his poetry. He encountered political prisoners, common criminals, and individuals from all walks of life, each with their own story of hardship and resilience. These encounters profoundly affected him, shaping his understanding of human nature and reinforcing his belief in the inherent dignity of all individuals. Faiz transformed his prison experience into a source of inspiration and resistance. He continued to write poetry, using his words to document the realities of prison life, to express his solidarity with his fellow inmates, and to articulate his vision of a more equitable world. His poems from this period, many of which were later collected in his acclaimed volume Zindan Narmer, represent some of his most powerful and enduring works. The poems in Zindan Narmer are profound reflections on the human condition, exploring themes of resilience, hope, and solidarity in the face of adversity. Faiz's verses capture the physical hardships of prison life, the cramped cells, the meager rations, the constant surveillance, and they also delve into the psychological and emotional toll that imprisonment takes on the human spirit. He writes of the longing for freedom, the pain of separation from loved ones, and the ever-present threat of despair. Even in the darkest of times, Faiz discovers reasons for hope. He celebrates the bonds of camaraderie that develop among prisoners, the shared sense of purpose that unites them in their struggle for liberation. He finds solace in the beauty of nature, observing the changing seasons through the bars of his cell window and drawing inspiration from the resilience of the natural world. He reaffirms his belief in the power of love and compassion to overcome hatred and oppression. A striking feature of Faiz's prison poetry is its emphasis on solidarity. He identifies himself with the oppressed and marginalized, speaking out on their behalf and lending his voice to their struggle. He recognizes that his own imprisonment is part of a larger pattern of injustice, and that his fate is intertwined with that of others who are suffering around the world. He calls for unity and collective action, urging people to stand together against tyranny and to fight for a better future. Faiz's poems from Zindan Narmer, such as Sub-e-Azadi, Dawn of Freedom, offer a scathing critique of the false promises of independence and the persistence of inequality in post-colonial societies. He celebrates the achievement of freedom from foreign rule, and he laments the fact that the benefits of independence have experienced unequal distribution, with the poor and marginalized continuing to suffer under new forms of oppression. He challenges his readers to confront these realities and to work towards a more equitable society. His ability to transform personal suffering into a universal message of hope and resistance cemented his status as a revolutionary poet. His imprisonment, intended to silence him, amplified his voice, reaching audiences far beyond the walls of his prison cell. His poems became anthems of resistance, inspiring countless individuals to stand up for their rights and to challenge oppressive regimes. The Rawalpindi Conspiracy Case proved a turning point in Faiz's life and career. It solidified his commitment to social justice, deepened his understanding of the human condition, and transformed him into a symbol of resistance against oppression. His prison poems, born of hardship and injustice, stand as a testament to the enduring power of art to inspire hope and to effect positive change in the world. The experience shaped his future activism and informed his later work promoting peace and human rights on the international stage. Faiz Ahmed Faiz emerged from imprisonment a changed individual, his spirit tempered by adversity, his resolve strengthened. The experience served as a crucible, refining his commitment to social justice and solidifying his role as a beacon of hope for the oppressed. His release signified a beginning to a new phase of activism, one characterized by international engagement and a broader focus on global issues of peace and human rights. The political climate in Pakistan remained turbulent. Military dictatorships continued to cast a long shadow over the nation, suppressing democratic values and stifling dissent. Faiz found himself increasingly at odds with the ruling regime, his outspoken criticism and unwavering commitment to social justice making him a target of surveillance and harassment. The problems of authoritarian rule, the erosion of civil liberties, and the suppression of free speech weighed heavily on his mind, fueling his determination to continue the fight for a more democratic and equitable society. Faced with mounting pressure and a sense of increasing restriction within his homeland, Faiz made the difficult decision to embark on a period of self-imposed exile. This decision allowed him to continue his work without the constant threat of imprisonment or censorship. It also provided him with a platform to amplify his voice on the international stage, bringing attention to the plight of the oppressed and advocating for peace and justice on a global scale. His exile took him to diverse locations globally, each experience molding his viewpoint and expanding his comprehension of the interconnected nature of worldwide struggles. He resided in London, Beirut, and Moscow, among other cities, interacting with intellectuals, activists, and artists from varied origins. These interactions deepened his grasp of global politics and strengthened his conviction in the significance of international unity in combating oppression. A notable phase of his exile encompassed his collaboration with the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization. This association presented him with a distinctive chance to contribute to the advancement of education, science, culture, and communication as instruments for peace and progress. He functioned as a consultant for the organization's cultural programs, offering his knowledge and insight to endeavors geared toward cultivating intercultural understanding and advancing human rights. His association with the organization demonstrated a strategic evolution in his method of activism. He remained dedicated to grassroots movements and immediate political action, and he acknowledged the capacity of international bodies to generate constructive transformation. He perceived the organization as a means of promoting democratic principles, encouraging discourse among cultures, and tackling the fundamental origins of conflict and disparity. His particular approach entailed utilizing his sway within these entities to further the cause of social equity and to champion the entitlements of marginalized populations across the globe. His endeavors with the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization and other international groups enabled him to confront the challenges of autocratic governance and the stifling of democratic ideals on a worldwide level. He voiced opposition to human rights infringements, championed the liberation of political detainees, and underscored the significance of unrestricted speech and freedom of expression. He employed his platform to heighten consciousness regarding the predicament of subjugated individuals in various regions of the world, constructing bonds of unity and nurturing a sense of shared humanity. His poetry from this era mirrors his experiences in exile and his involvement with international matters. It is distinguished by subjects of defiance, solidarity, and internationalism, mirroring his dedication to opposing oppression in every manifestation. His poems became anthems of the global struggle for peace and equity, inspiring activists and revolutionaries worldwide. In poems such as Motorilo Kalam, which translates to the treasure of pen and tablet, he celebrates the power of words to challenge inequity and inspire hope. He writes of the enduring strength of the human spirit and the importance of resisting tyranny, even when facing overwhelming odds. The poem serves as a call to action, urging readers to use their voices to speak out against oppression and to fight for a better world. Another notable poem from this period is Arj Bazar Ming Parbar Jalan Charlo, which translates to Come, Let Us Wander Shackled in the Marketplace. This powerful poem reflects on the sacrifices made by those who stand up for their beliefs and the importance of remaining steadfast when facing adversity. He writes of the pain and suffering endured by political prisoners and of their unwavering commitment to the cause of freedom. His poetry from this period reflects his increasing awareness of the interconnectedness of global struggles. He recognized that the fight for social equity was confined to no single nation or region, but was a universal struggle that required international solidarity. He wrote of the shared experiences of oppressed people around the world, emphasizing the importance of building bridges of understanding and working together to create a more equitable world. Themes of resistance, solidarity, and internationalism in his poetry resonated deeply with audiences around the world. His poems were translated into numerous languages and recited at rallies, protests, and cultural events. He became a symbol of hope for those struggling against oppression, his words providing solace, inspiration, and a sense of shared purpose. His exile, while undoubtedly a challenging period in his life, ultimately broadened his perspective and amplified his voice on the international stage. His work with UNESCO and other international organizations allowed him to contribute to the promotion of peace, human rights, and social equity on a global scale. His poetry from this period reflects his experiences in exile and his engagement with international issues, serving as a testament to his unwavering commitment to fighting oppression in all its forms. His unique ability to connect personal experiences of suffering and resilience with broader themes of international solidarity has continued to inspire generations. The exile years, though marked by displacement, amplified Faiz Ahmed Faiz's voice on the world stage. His association with UNESCO alongside other international entities provided avenues to advance peace, human rights, and societal equity globally. His poetic expressions from this era mirrored his time away from home alongside his engagement with worldwide matters, standing as a testament to his steadfast dedication to combating oppression in every manifestation. This singular capacity to weave personal narratives of hardship and fortitude into expansive themes of international unity has resonated across generations. The conclusion of his exile brought Faiz back to Pakistan, a nation still grappling with the complexities of its identity and direction. The socio-political landscape he returned to was one marked by both promise and peril, a nation striving for stability yet often succumbing to the inertia of entrenched power structures. His return affirmed his commitment to his homeland and his unwavering belief in the potential for positive change within its borders. Faiz's later poetic collections, including Asterisk, Mir Dil Mir Musafir Asterisk and Asterisk, Sariwadi E Singer Asterisk, became profound reflections on the human condition within this evolving Pakistani context. These works explored themes of disillusionment alongside enduring hope, the search for meaning in a world often characterized by uncertainty and injustice. Asterisk, Mir Dil Mir Musafir Asterisk, translating to My Heart, My Traveler, encapsulates the poet's own journey, both physical and spiritual, as he navigated the shifting sands of his life and the turbulent currents of his nation's history. The poems within this collection evoke a sense of weariness, a recognition of the long and arduous road ahead, and they resonate with an unwavering determination to persevere, to continue striving for a better future. Asterisk, Sariwadi Isinger, asterisk, meaning towards the Valley of Sinai, carries a spiritual undertone, drawing upon the imagery of the biblical Mount Sinai, a place of divine revelation and profound transformation. This collection delves into existential questions, grappling with the mysteries of life and death, the nature of faith and doubt, and the search for transcendence in a world often defined by materialism and superficiality. The poems in Asterisk, Sariwadi Isiner Asterisk reflect Faiz's evolving understanding of the human condition, his growing awareness of the limitations of political activism, and his deepening appreciation for the power of individual transformation. Faiz Ahmed Faiz consistently addressed the enduring issues of social and political stagnation in Pakistan. He observed the difficulties confronting his nation, including corruption, inequality, and a lack of accountability that impeded advancement. His distinctive approach involved employing his poetry as a medium for social commentary, fostering hope and resilience when facing hardship. He achieved this by amplifying the voices of the marginalized, questioning those in power, and reminding individuals of their shared humanity. Faiz's subsequent poems demonstrate an increasing sense of self-examination, a readiness to face his own mortality, and to contemplate the lasting impact of the revolutionary movement. He engaged with the intricacies of growing older, the awareness that the aspirations of his younger years might remain unrealized, and the comprehension that the pursuit of fairness is a perpetual endeavor. Even during these periods of introspection, his poetry maintained its inherent optimism, a conviction in the strength of human connection, and the potential for constructive transformation. Take, as an instance, his poem Dono Jahan Terry Moabet Main Har Ki, frequently translated as having lost both worlds in your love. This poem, while appearing to be a romantic expression, can be understood as a symbolic representation of the revolutionaries' self-sacrifice, the readiness to relinquish personal advantage in worldly goods in the quest for a more elevated ideal. The speaker in the poem has relinquished everything to the cause of love, including his own sense of self, discovering satisfaction in the act of selfless dedication. The poem's lasting attraction resides in its capacity to connect on numerous levels, to be interpreted as a love song, a political declaration, or a spiritual affirmation. Another compelling illustration can be found in his Barzil Kadyard Main Terror Sarth Nain, which translates to What is it that your memory is not with me? This poignant verse addresses the enduring influence of memory, the manner in which the past can mold the present and affect the future. The poem proposes that even during times of isolation and despondency, the memory of cherished individuals, of shared experiences, and of previous struggles can offer comfort and fortitude. It serves as evidence of the lasting human aptitude for resilience, the capability to discover hope even during the most challenging circumstances. The social and political messages contained within Faiz's later works maintain their significance in the present-day world. His poems persist in resonating with those contending against oppression, inequality, and injustice. His words remind us that striving for a superior world is a shared effort, demanding bravery, persistence, and a steadfast dedication to human dignity. The themes he examined, including social justice, human rights, and resistance against authoritarianism, are relevant today as they were during his life. Faiz's thoughts on aging and mortality contributed further depth to his later poetry. He addressed these topics with a typical combination of stoicism and acceptance, recognizing the certainty of death while honoring the beauty and fragility of life. His poems from this time often suggest a feeling of nostalgia, a yearning for the past, while also embracing the present, acknowledging the significance of living each day completely. His poem, Much Si Pale Si Nu Bet Mir, Mebu Narmarn, or My Love, Do Ask Before That First Love Again, presents a touching reflection on the passage of time and the evolving character of love. The speaker in the poem acknowledges that the youthful passion of first love is unrepeatable, that life's experiences inevitably shape and transform our understanding of relationships. The poem affirms the lasting strength of love, the capacity to discover new depths of connection and intimacy as we mature. The legacy of revolutionary struggle remained a core theme in Faiz's later works. He understood that the fight for social justice is a lengthy and difficult process, requiring constant awareness and a willingness to adjust to evolving situations. He warned against complacency, reminding his readers that past achievements can easily be forfeited if they are actively defended. His poetry served as a call to action, encouraging people to remain involved in the struggle for a superior world, to continue challenging injustice in all its forms. Faiz Ahmed Faiz's return to Pakistan signified a notable chapter in his life and career. His later works reflected his profound involvement with the social and political realities of his homeland, his developing understanding of the human condition, and his steadfast dedication to revolutionary struggle. These poems offer a message of hope, resilience, and the enduring strength of human connection, a message that continues to resonate with readers globally. His contributions remind us of art's capacity to challenge oppression and inspire hope, even when facing adversity. Faiz Ahmed Faiz's legacy stands as a testament to the enduring power of poetry to transcend boundaries and inspire generations. His verses, steeped in the rich tradition of Urdu literature, resonated far beyond the borders of Pakistan, touching the hearts and minds of those yearning for social justice and human dignity across the globe. He carved a niche for himself, skillfully weaving together classical forms with contemporary themes of political resistance and social change. The impact of Faiz on subsequent generations of poets, activists, and intellectuals is undeniable. Within Pakistan, his work became a touchstone for progressive movements, providing a voice for the marginalized and a rallying cry for those challenging authoritarian regimes. His poems were recited at protests, set to music, and integrated into the cultural fabric of resistance. Young poets, inspired by his example, sought to emulate his blend of lyrical beauty and political engagement, using their own words to address the pressing issues of their time. His poetry found a receptive audience among those involved in struggles for liberation and social justice. His work was translated into numerous languages, allowing his message of hope and resistance to reach a global audience. Activists in countries facing oppression found inspiration in his unwavering commitment to human rights and his belief in the power of collective action. Intellectuals recognized the depth and complexity of his thought, appreciating his ability to articulate the universal human longing for freedom and equality. The continuing relevance of Faiz's poetry in the context of contemporary social and political challenges is striking. In a world still grappling with inequality, injustice, and oppression, his words continue to speak with remarkable clarity and force. His poems offer a powerful critique of authoritarianism, economic exploitation, and social discrimination, while simultaneously providing a vision of a more equitable future. These reminders emphasize that the pursuit of social justice is a continuous endeavor, demanding persistent awareness and a readiness to question established norms. Faiz had an exceptional talent for integrating seemingly diverse components into a unified and persuasive artistic perspective. He skillfully utilized traditional Urdu poetic styles, mastering the complex structures of the ghazal and the nazm. He also incorporated contemporary socialist concepts into these forms, employing them to articulate his dedication to social justice and his criticism of capitalist exploitation. This combination of tradition and modernity provided his poetry with a distinctive quality, rendering it both approachable and intellectually engaging. His command of language enabled him to communicate intricate concepts with notable precision and emotional resonance. He wrote with a simplicity that highlighted the sophistication of his thought, employing vibrant imagery and evocative metaphors to capture the essence of human experience. His poems are intellectually rigorous and emotionally resonant, appealing to the intellect and the emotions. Faiz's contribution to the pursuit of social justice and human rights extends considerably beyond his literary accomplishments. He was a dedicated champion for peace, democracy, and equality, utilizing his position as a poet and intellectual to voice opposition to injustice wherever it was apparent. He was incarcerated due to his political convictions, yet he remained steadfast in his dedication to his principles. His life and work provide encouragement to those who believe in the capacity of art to challenge oppression and foster hope. His example illustrates that poetry can be a potent catalyst for social transformation. His verses emphasize that even during the most difficult periods, maintaining hope and striving toward an improved future remains possible. His work encourages persistent dedication to the pursuit of justice and unwavering support for those who are oppressed. Faiz's words provide hope in a world often filled with cynicism and despair. He reminds us of the human spirit's ability to endure hardship and to discover beauty, meaning, and connection even when facing adversity. His poems celebrate the resilience of the human heart and the power of love to overcome hatred and division. Faiz's legacy demonstrates an unwavering commitment to social justice, artistic excellence, and human dignity. His poems continue to inspire readers globally, reminding them of the importance of striving for a more equitable future. His work powerfully reminds us of art's enduring power to challenge oppression and inspire hope, a testament to the transformative potential of human creativity and compassion. This legacy will resonate for generations. His message remains profoundly relevant for a world still grappling with inequality and injustice, a world in need of voices that speak truth to power and offer a vision of a better tomorrow. The echoes of his verses will reverberate in the hearts and minds of those who strive for a world where justice, equality, and peace prevail.
We really appreciate you tuning in to this AI-powered presentation. Our goal is to push the boundaries of AI in content creation, and your input is invaluable. If there's a particular subject you'd like to see us tackle next, or if you have suggestions on how we could fine-tune our AI's creative prompts, please don't hesitate to leave your ideas in the comments section. We're excited to bring you more unique content very soon.